Alright, math is awesome. We are finding the circumference of a circle. The circumference of a circle is the perimeter of a circle. It is the length around a circle. And we see this here. So the green, the length around the circle, is what we are finding, the circumference. Now, a circle has a lot of information and a lot of language that we need to be familiar with. One is that the distance between one side to the other when we go through the center of the circle is called the diameter. The red line is the diameter. And also, if we go from the center of the circle to the edge, we have the radius. We call that the radius. And so for these problems, they're going to give you one or the other. They're either going to give you the radius or they're going to give you the diameter. And you need to decide what they give you because it depends on which equation we use. There are two equations to find the circumference of a circle. The circumference either equals 2 times the radius, 2r, times pi, or we could use the equation the circumference equals the diameter times pi. And we have to decide which equation to use based on what they give me. In this example, they give me the diameter. The entire diameter is 14 centimeters. Now I could also find the radius once given the diameter. The radius is half of the diameter, so the radius is 7. And so if I use this equation, 2 times the radius, which is 7, I would be using the same equation as if I just used the diameter, meaning 14 times pi for the circumference. So there's a 3-step process that I want you to think of when you're finding the circumference. One is what is given to you, the radius or the diameter. I was given the diameter. Even though I can find the radius, I am given the diameter. And then my second step is I need to use the formula that uses diameter. The formula I'm going to use is 1 delicious pi. And so because I was given diameter, I'm going to use the equation that uses diameter. The next thing I want to decide is what to use as my estimation of pi. Remember that pi is a number that never ends. It'll never stop. So I can't multiply with a number that never ends. I'll never stop multiplying. So I got to use an estimation. I can either use the fraction 22 over 7 or I can use the decimal 3.14. Both of these are estimations of pi and I need to decide what to use. Now sometimes it's a preference. In this example it's a preference. And sometimes it depends on what's given to you. If they give me a problem that has a decimal in it, I'll probably use a decimal for my estimation of pi. If they use a problem where they give me a fraction for diameter or radius, I'll probably want to use the fraction estimation for pi. I prefer to multiply fractions. I think it's easier. So I'm going to use 22 over 7 as my estimation of pi. So I'm ready to finally solve it. So my circumference will equal my diameter, which is 14, times my pi, which I'm going to use 22 over 7. And I can see that I can simplify before I multiply. So I can cross off the 7 and make it a 1. I can cross off the 14 and make it a 2. And then multiply straight across. And 2 times 22 is 44. 1 times 1 is 1. And I don't need to write over 1 here. And so I get 44 centimeters. Always finish with the unit. The circumference or the length around that circle is 44 centimeters. Always end with the unit. Make sure you tell me the length that we're talking about. Alright, you have one problem to solve. 1.8 centimeters. Determine first, please do it in this order. Do they give me the radius or diameter? Second, which equation are you going to use? Are you going to use C equals 2 raspberry Pies? Or are you going to use one delicious pie. And then the next step is to determine what you are going to estimate for pi. Are you going to use the fraction or are you going to use the decimal? Please solve this problem, 1.8 centimeters, and determine whether they give you the radius or diameter, which equation to use, and then what to estimate for pi. Sweet!